Hi guys, this is Akak Hamid. Welcome back to my channel once again. So guys, in this video, I'm just going to show you the easiest way to blur a subject in Davinci Resolve. So it's going to be a straightforward, simple video, and there's nothing too complex about it. So, excuse me. So what we'll do is I'm just going to show you how to do that now. So this is just an old footage of me just speaking, doing a talking head to the camera. Just I've used this as an example for this tutorial. So what I'm going to do is just make sure it's the clip is selected. Then I go onto the color panel here. So once I'm in the color panel, all I'm gonna just basically gonna do is, if you saw my tracking video just recently in tracking in Davinci Resolve, it's kind of like similar but a bit different. So with that being said, just make sure the clip is selected as I said earlier. Then what we're going to do is we're going to click on this icon here, and then you've got all these options. Now if you're going to blur a face out, I always tend to use the circular object here. So I'm just going to basically put that around the face area. So I'm just going to do that now. And just make sure it's lined up properly. Now there is a way where you can actually feather the circular thing. So if I see the red dot here, if I click on that, see, that's a way of feathering it. But to be honest, I wouldn't really play around with that because it's just a face that we're messing around with. So basically once that's selected, all you do is, if you see this icon here, it's like a bullseye, I think, a target, just click that, and always make sure the 3D one is switched off because it'll just tend to spoil it. So make sure that one's checked off, and make sure the other pan, tilt, zoom and rotate are turned on. Those are important. You don't really need the 3D one in this case. So once I've got that, basically all I'm gonna do here is just click on these arrows here. Just click that. So what that's gonna do is just gonna basically track the subject forward. Then it's gonna do it backwards. It's gonna repeat the same process backwards. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you did watch my tracking video in Davinci Resolve, it were 2 videos ago from this one. It's kind of like the similar process, but we're just going to do a bit additional things. So that's all it is. You can see it's tracked it forward, now it's doing it backwards. So it just makes sure that the tracking process is accurate. Now if you see, it is actually tracking the face properly, but if it goes, let's just say for example it goes out of position, you can still line it up and then carry it on. You know, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't sort of like affect the full video. But thankfully this is a straightforward talking head, so I didn't have to do too much playing around with this. So I'm just going to wait for this it's nearly done now, so I'll just show you what to do next. Okay, so now that it's done this backwards, all we're basically going to do is just sort of like just scroll forward and back. You can see if it's not out of position, and that seems to be good so far. So now we've got the tracking in position. All I'm basically going to do is I'm just going to go on this icon here. Actually, I'm going to go on to this one. We'll just go on to that one now. And what you basically do is just make sure that that's lined up, which we've already done here. Now click on this icon here. And then what we're going to do is, if you see this radius here, we're going to scroll that up. Now can you see how it's blurring the face out? Now one thing I'm going to point out here is, now when I put this to the top, it makes it look as if it won't go any further. But guess what guys, it does go further. So all I'm going to basically do is get your mouse key and just keep scrolling up, and pay attention to the face. Can you see it still goes further up? So don't think that just because the radius is reached its maximum point, it hasn't. You can still go further, and you can see I've just proved that here. So I'm just going to press play now. There, can you see how it's actually done that? Can you see it's blurred it out? It's done that very nicely. Just going to go into here and just play that. So I'm just going to play that properly here. And look at that, guys. Bob's your uncle there. It's done it very accurately. Now, one thing I'm going to show you here is, let's just say we want to sort of like pixelate it a bit more. So what do we do for that? Well, you get the mosaic blur here. Just click on, make sure your library is selected. So you go on to clips here, effects, make sure the mosaic blur is selected there. Then what we're going to do here is we're going to go on to our nodes. So the nodes there, what we're going to do is we're going to drag the mosaic blur into there. Now you've got your frequency. You should get this up, mosaic blur. You got your frequency. So then you just sort of like, can you see, look, pay attention to the face now as I scroll. Can you see what it's doing there? So you can pixelate this. And let me just click on play. There you go, guys. Job well done. So the other thing I want to stress here is, now because I'm talking here, the voice is actually quite normal. So what I'm going to do here is, if you go into audio, click on an inspector, click on the audio here, and then what you're going to do is just press see the pitch. If I bring the pitch semitones down,
there is one thing
I do want to explain
picture profile. So to start with, just so you understand
how these picture profiles work. So we all know that when basically all it's doing is sort of like getting the sound. You can mess around with the sound if I go like this. There. So you can mess around with the sound audio as well too. Now because obviously I've got my microphone, so that's why it's probably not giving any sound. But what I'm going to show you is, the other thing I want to show you is, supposing if we have two, what happens if we actually have two faces in one footage? What's the solution behind that? Again, that's very easy. Now I don't actually have a footage where there's actually two faces here. So in this scenario, we're just going to imagine, let's just say there's another subject here and the face is right about here. I'm sorry guys, we're just gonna have to pretend I don't have a footage with two faces, so I do apologize for that. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna right click, add a node, add serial. So we're going to add a serial node, and it's the exact same process. So we're going to click on this circular icon here. I'm going to click the circular icon. So let's just say, for example, the face is over here. Then I'm going to track that by clicking on this. Make sure the 3D is turned off. Then I'm going to click on this. So now you can see on this one it's not actually tracking because we don't have a moving subject. It's just one piece of, just say like it's a wardrobe, because obviously a wardrobe doesn't move, but you get the gist of what it's trying to do here. So it's going to track it all the way back as well. Now all we're doing is we're just imagining that that's a face behind there. Again, I do apologize guys, I don't have a footage with the extra face on. So this is, I'm just showing you how it would be like when you've got two faces in one frame. That's all I'm getting you to imagine here. So let's just wait for that to finish, just so you can see the result. Again, you know, if you do have a footage with the two faces, you can use that as an example and then just see if it works, which it should do. Yeah, so it's nearly done now, guys. There. Now let's go back here. Now actually what I'll need to do is just gonna go onto the radius again. So I'm gonna go do that by clicking on this icon here. Then I'm gonna go up there. Just keep an eye out on that area that I've tracked. Can you see that, guys? It's blurred it there. Now I'm gonna go back to the clip. See, so now we're just imagining that this is a face here. So now I've blurred out two faces. Look at that, guys. You can do all sorts. So again, as I mentioned, you can actually blur this as well. So you can pixelate it. There, you can see what it's doing there to the frame. And so there you have it, guys. That's the video. So I hope you've learned something new there. So all we've just basically done is I've just shown you how to blur the face in a frame. And again, you know, I do apologize, I didn't have a second person. So you can actually blur out two faces. In fact, you can blur out three, as many as you want. So that's how you do it. You just create another node representing how many people you want. But there you have it, guys. I hope you learned something new. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, guys. Smash that subscribe button and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching.